Hello, malt mates. Welcome to the Whiskey Bothy. Welcome to review number 1078 Extras. X for extras, extra content, opinion, perspective, and sharing a little bit of extra experience with you to help you calibrate and recalibrate your whiskey journey. What you decide to buy, and ideally, when you do buy, you're paying a little bit less and getting better quality, because there's nothing worse, because we've all been there where we've put our money on the counter or got our card out to pay for something, and then we've regretted the price we've paid because the calibre of the experience does not justify the money. And we know it doesn't, except that we're still programmed consumers. So we presume and assume that when a retailer, when a producer says that recommended retail price is this because it's worth it, it's just their opinion. It's not a fact. It just isn't a fact. What we do know is that we need to pay a certain amount of money, because if we're looking for cheap whiskey and nothing but cheap whiskey, we'll soon find it. But we'll just have a cheap experience. And as a result, we won't have we'll have a cheap life, frankly. We are the sum of what we invest in. Whether it be investing our money into products, experiences, or investing in time, or anything whatsoever. So, in my last review, I reviewed this. It's an independent bottling of Deanston. 18-year-old, single cask strength. Just the way I like my whiskey, because I find from experience over the years that age is a good age. It's the right presentation, the right strength to deliver the maximum delivery of the experience of a single malt. A single malt being a whiskey, Scotch whiskey in particular, made from 100% malted barley, which is passed through a pot still. And this done because it's inefficient, and with that inefficiency, flavour and complexity and intensity of sensation is fabricated, which you wouldn't get to the same extent in a column still, depending on how tall that column still is. Now, I reviewed this. I didn't hang around. I got straight to the point. Absolutely, majorly delicious stuff. And I consequently gave it one of the highest marks that I've given a whiskey in a long, long time. I gave it 88 out of 100. Now, at this point, you're saying, right, I'm going to get hold of a bottle of that whiskey, and then you find you can't find it. Because good whiskies do not hang around on the shelf for very long when the price is right. Because the bloodhounds and the investigative forensic maltsters like myself and others, we keep our nose out for these kind of whiskies. And also, for a reason only be known to the Scotch whisky industry. I don't know the full reason. You find that these single cask, good value versions only appear within the European market and not the world market, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me, frankly, because it's basically you're hobbling your business. But there again, the same thing happens in the USA with bourbon. You know, the big bourbon conglomerates, they don't put out a lot of authentic, unchill filtered, natural presented single cask bourbons, do they? They do exist, but my goodness, at what an eye-watering price. Most of the time, not always. Right? So I know what I'm looking at here. But this is an absolute fabulous whiskey. The nose is brilliant. It ticks all the boxes. It's aromatic. It's perfumed. It's slightly wood smoky. Just a hint, just an understated hint. It's a really good cask. It's a really sound quality spirit. Everything's going for it. This is an absolute 8.5 out of 10. Easy, which is why I gave it 88 out of 100. But it's only one single cask, and when it's gone, it's gone. So if you're looking for it, you're going to be lucky. So what's my recommendation to you? Two pieces of recommendations I'm going to give you. One is don't worry about it. Don't bother with the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Bottles like these are bottled all the time. And when you go into your whisky specialist shop, when you ask for this style of bottle from independent bottlers, single cask, honest delivery, transparent delivery with the information on the label, and you're not buying the inferior whiskies, they're soon going to get the hint that you're a customer that's busy walking away and not spending your money in their shop. And any shopkeeper who runs a shop wants to make money. End of. It's not rocket science. And they know fine well that they can't recommend to you the malt of the month simply because they get a special deal from some corporate multinational that's just trying to push their product, because otherwise it wouldn't really sell terribly well. That really brings down the reputation of so-called specialist retailers when they play that game. But there's another piece of information I want to give you, and that is, and this is quite important. When you start your whisky journey, you don't start with these bottlings. Just ignore them. Because when you don't have an experienced whisky palate, and I'm not trying to patronise you, and I'm sure you've got a great nose and a great sense of taste, I fully respect that. But if you don't have at least 5 years experience, you're going to be smelling this and tasting this and saying, oh, it's a great whisky, but I'm not quite sure why. You're not getting the full experience. And I want to take this further now. Before you buy this bottling, you want to do what I did. Do your apprenticeship and start at the beginning. Here is a standard Deanston 12-year-old from quite a number of years ago. It is quite a number of years ago. In fact, this one, I'd gone through most of the bottle, and then I've topped it up with 35-year-old Invergordon grain whisky and forgotten all about it. I'm surprised the cork even came off there. Because I wanted a sense of aged whisky, a super blend, an aged blend, right? Young malt, old grain. This is what I got. It's in my opened bottle archives stash. So I got quite a way through this bottle of 12-year-old Deanston, 46% unchill filtered, 46.3% unchill filtered natural cut. Oh, look out. Come here, Fluffy. Come here, Fluffy. Come to Daddy. Oh, you go. Going to sit on Daddy's knee? Are you going to be a wee brat? He knows, right? He knows, because cats are like this. He knows that I've brought back the bucket of cat treats. Yes. So at this point, he won't jump up on the... Yes, he is. He will. He's stubborn. Right, you. Are you going to say hello to the malt mates? Are you? Come here. Come here. Right, say hello to the malt mates. Meow, 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 meow. Meow, 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 meow. Treats on the carpet. There you go. Bothy carpet. Go find. Whenever making your journey, start at the beginning. Start with the standard bottling. It helps you get your bearings. It's bottles like this that explain bottles like this. When you've bought this bottle and enjoyed it and really connected with the experience, then and only then will you start to get what's going on in the independent bottle. Here's another good example. 12-year-old Madeira, cask finished. Another banger of a Deanston. I've opened the bottle, get plenty of dust on it. It's what happens. I mean, I'm opening a bottle every single week of the year to do these reviews. That's 52 bottles a year. There's no way I can finish all these. Like sometimes I just give them away to really people who are kind to me. But others I keep because they're really good quality and they become a historical archive. I've done it with this. So here's the standard 12-year-old Deanston, the Madeira cask matured Deanston, and then to top it off, 18-year-old Deanston. So I've got through at least 5 or 6 bottles of Deanston, not one after another, but slowly and methodically over a number of years before I even arrived here. I've been caught out in the past. I remember buying a Mostowie from Cadenheads many years ago, and it was the Chairman's Reserve or something like that, and it was, cost quite a bit, and it was supposed to be absolutely amazing stuff because the chairman had selected it. I used to believe these things in those days. And, I couldn't get my palate around it at all. I had to put the cork on. And it was 5 years later I came back to that bottle and actually started to enjoy it and really appreciate it for the quality of what was actually there. It doesn't happen overnight. Some people are lucky. They've got natural born palates. They can learn very quickly. But for other folk, it's a slower journey. And furthermore, the slower the journey, like any journey, the more of the scenery you take in as you're passing through the landscape. And that's the fact of it. Shush. Cats are trying to distract me. I think the bigger cat's jealous the wee cat's got all the treats. They'll be back in shortly. I better conclude this video before they start a boxing match. So, that's my practical advice. And if you're not quite sure of your own palate, share your whiskey with good company, but choose your company wisely. You want people who are going to take their time, that are not there for a bevy session, that are not there, that folk are going to focus the concentration on the smell, on the taste, on the reasonable analytics of it. Because that's so much a part of the positivity of engagement. It really, really is. So I hope you find that useful. It's not just a general whisky apprenticeship. I'm being more specific here. I'm saying try a number of the official bottlings that are much more available, and generally they're affordable depending which brand you buy. So forget Dalmore and Glengoyne. Go for the affordable stuff, and then, and only then, when you see one of these bottles that you'd no plans to buy, and then you do some brief forensics because you know your reliable sources, you only need 3 or 4, you jump in, you buy the bottle, and you get a banger malt moment. And there you have it. See you soon.